Hello and welcome back to Tuesdays with Tom. We've been getting a lot of questions about corrections lately. I was wondering if you could sort of do a deep dive into that today.
Yes, it's something that's coming up a lot lately, and we've helped a lot of facilities write a plan of correction. You'll get a citation from your OPA, and they'll tell you what you're being cited for. The citations have to say what section of Title 22 they're citing. But the main thing to know is the due date. How much time do you have to put in a plan of correction? So make that on your calendar. And then work with your LPA and see what they will accept for a plan of correction. They may want certain documents, records, sometimes photos. What's sufficient to complete the plan? Let's say you've got a hot water issue. Remember, your water temperature's got to be less than 120. If it's over 125, you got to have a sign. So let's say there's an issue, your water is 123. So they're going to want a plumber that's licensed to come out and check your water and say, yeah, it's less than 120 when they adjust it. So just be sure that you have it corrected with somebody that's qualified to make the corrections, okay? So the licensing is going to want to know who's going to be involved, if it's a training, who's the instructor going to be, or you're going to use a training company. So they want information how you're going to settle the corrections. Now, you can ask for an extension, but you must request the extension before the due date or within 10 days of when they gave you the notice. So if you're going to ask for an extension, do it right away. They can grant you an extension up to 30 days. Be sure if you got any type A citations, which is immediate risk, that those are taken care of before you ask for an extension. You must submit it in writing to your LPA. The LPA will submit the extension request to their program manager. And if it's approved by the program manager, they'll fill out a Form 178, put it in your file, and then it'll let you know how many more days you got an extension to get your plan of correction done. Remember, it is discretionary, so the approval is going to depend on the justification you provide. You've got to have a good reason to ask for an extension, and just saying you're busy is not a good reason. So be sure that you put information in your extension on why they should give you an extension. And then also, you get everything done, you corrected everything, be prepared that licensing may just come back out to see if you're doing what you said you were going to do. There was one case recently where the facility was told to remove an employee, and they sent a letter to licensing. The employee was gone, and then licensing showed up at the building. And guess what? The employee was still working there. So be sure that you take these plan of corrections serious. Now, remember, if you get a penalty, a civil penalty, a fine, you want to take care of that. You do have the right to appeal. Well, you got a right to appeal any plan of correction or any citation, but you may want to appeal a fine.
So if you get issued a citation and you are planning on appealing it and fighting the citation, should you still pay it beforehand and then try and get the money back, or should you wait?
This is a good question. Pay the fine. Okay. Pay the fine. They usually won't give you money back, but they'll give you credit maybe on your next license fee. But yeah, definitely pay the fine. Remember, non-payment of civil penalties can result in denial or revocation of your license, which they can take it away. So pay the fine, okay? And if you don't do everything on time, you don't pay your fine on time, there can be a $200 immediate fine for not getting it done, okay? Some of the plans of corrections that we've looked at recently is probably one of the main ones, not having enough staff. So you're going to show licensing where you're getting staff. Not training staff, that's another big one. So you got to show licensing and give them a date. When you're going to train your staff, who's going to train them? Are you going to use a company? Are you going to do it yourself? But that's going to be part of your plan of correction. We've had things like maybe there's a broken window or a lock that doesn't work, damaged window screens. When are you going to be able to get this stuff fixed? Talked about the hot water temperatures. The other thing I've seen a few times now is bad evictions, where you evicted somebody, but you didn't have a good reason to evict them. So you want to be sure and check with Title 22 before you write somebody an eviction Another one's not filing unusual incident reports. Remember, you've got 24 hours to let them know, and you got 7 days to put it in writing for most unusual incidents. And then the biggest one that we see is medication errors. So basically, your plan of correction is going to be a lot of more training, but it's got to be everything they need to approve your plan of correction. So get it turned in. They'll tell you if they want some changes to it, but you want to get it turned in right away.
Have there been a lot of citations issued lately for having cameras in the facility and surveillance cameras?
Yeah, there has. That's another good question. Everybody's putting up these Ring doorbells. That's a video camera. So be sure if you have any kind of video, you need to get permission from licensing. So, and it's about the ones we're doing for, even if it's a doorbell, it's about 12 to 15 pages of things you got to do to let licensing know now you've got videos in your facility. So that was a good question.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.